Okay, so I was saying that if we want to do a rectangle that's 4 inches by 2 inches, we would simply go out 2 inches from the center to the right and 2 inches to the left, and then we would draw guidelines that way, and then we would have our rectangle that's perfectly centered on our drawing paper. Right, so if you understand that concept, you can center any object onto your drawing paper by taking the width and the height and dividing it by 2 and going to the left and the right, or the top and the bottom with your respective dimensions. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get a new sheet of drawing paper. We're going to go ahead and square up the new sheet of drawing paper, and then we're going to start working on our repair patch. Okay, so again, I'm squaring my top line of my drawing paper with my T-square. Okay, if you notice, I did the same procedure again, where I double checked and I removed all the air. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in my guidelines for my title block. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and find the center of my drawing area. Again, going from corner to corner and putting in a diagonal guideline. A little bit darker than I would like, but again, it's difficult working around the camera. Again, notice how my fingers are away from the edge, pressing onto the T-square. Now I'm going to put in my horizontal guideline. And last, my vertical guideline. Okay, now that I have my guidelines set up, I take a look at my patch. And now, let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Okay. Now our patch is an octagon shaped patch, but if we were to extend this line, the bottom line, the top line, the left edge and the right edge, oops, I missed it, okay? If we were to extend these lines, we would basically have a rectangle. So the easiest way to start this drawing is to center a rectangle on your paper. So the width of my repair patch is 2 1/8 of an inch. So what I'm going to actually do is take 2 1/8 of an inch and divide it by 2, right? So if you want to do it quickly, you can do 2 times 8 is 16 and 1 is 17/8 divided by 2. We use the keep, change, flip rule, and we get 17/8 multiply by 1/2, and you get 17/16. Which equals, now you go from an improper fraction to a mixed numeral, you get 1 1/16. Okay? So I know my measurement to my left is 1 1/16. On my scale, this is my 1 inch. Here's my 1 inch mark, then my 1/16, and then my 1/8 mark. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to 1 1/16. Put a mark to the left. 1 1/16. Put a mark to the right. Now I'm going to go ahead and draw in vertical guidelines. Put in vertical guidelines. Okay. So now what I have on my drawing paper is, if you can see, is I have my left edge and my right edge. my left edge and my right edge. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in my bottom and my top. So let me see what my measurements are. Okay, so my measurement is 1 inch, 1 5/8. Okay, so now I'm going to take 1 5/8 and divide it by 2. First thing is I'm going to convert my mixed numeral to improper fraction. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 5 is 13. 13 over 8 divided by 2. Convert 2 to a fraction by putting it over 1. I use my keep, change, flip rule. I keep 13 over 8. Then I multiply by 1 over 2, and I end up with 13/16. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead on my scale. I'm going to find 13/16. Let's see, we have here 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 13/16 is equal to 26/32. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to go 26/32 to the top, 26/32 to the bottom, and now I put in my horizontal guidelines. Okay. So now, if you look in here, I have a rectangle that's perfectly centered on my drawing paper. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find these points. I'm going to find this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point, and this one on my drawing that I just made. How do I do that? Well, let's see what my dimensions are here. Well, this is 1 inch. Okay, this is 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a ½ inch to the left. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go a ½ inch to the left and a ½ inch to the right. Put a mark. ½ inch to the right, ½ inch to the left. Okay, I'm going to go to the top. ½ inch to the right, ½ inch to the left. Okay, now let's see what my measurements are here. Okay, 28/32. So I'm gonna go 14/32. Go 14/32 to the top, 14/32 to the bottom, and then here I'm gonna go 14/32 to the top, 14/32 to the bottom. Right, now, Sean, can you do me a favor? There's a blue Sharpie on my desk. What I'm going to do just to help out, I'm going to make this in with Sharpie. Okay, so just so that you can see like a dark line. On that desk over there should be a blue Sharpie. You see it? Okay, I'm going to try to make some of these lines with a Sharpie. So this way you can just see it a little bit clearly on the drawing paper. Hopefully I don't make too much of a mistake on here. Okay, now I'm simply going to connect these points. Okay, and we have our repair patch perfectly centered on our drawing paper. Right now, in order to put in our rivet marks, okay, all we would simply do is measure up, draw a horizontal line, measure to the right, draw a vertical line, measure down, horizontal line, and again over here in a vertical line, we'll be able to put our rivet points, okay? And simply measure up and put in where we would taper the edges, okay? What this line is showing you here is that you're going to have to file your edges at a 45 degree to taper the edge so that you have a smooth contact and even flow between your skin and your repair patch. Okay, and on your drawing, when you have to put in your notes, what you're simply going to do to put in your notes is you're going to make a horizontal guideline. You're going to make a vertical guideline. Okay, and on here, on the vertical guideline that you made, it's kind of hard to see it because I'm making very light lines, but on here, you're going to measure 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and every 1/8 of an inch, you're going to go ahead and put in a mark. You're going to put in a mark. Then you're going to go ahead and make horizontal guidelines on those marks. Okay, and you can see that we just created a mark so that you can put in your notes in this area here. Okay, you put in your notes in this area here. All right, so you just keep going up, and basically you'll be making like ruler lines, like a notebook page, in that section to fill in your notes. Right, so that's how you would go ahead and start that drawing. Okay, I know this is, I'm going to stop it here so this video doesn't get too long. I'll try to make another one later on, but more detail. But now you can see how it's easy to get your octagon shape perfectly centered in the middle of your drawing paper.